Okay. Hi, this is David Swanson. I'm the Executive Director of World Beyond War, and I am down here in Charlottesville, Virginia, and wish I could be with you in Washington, D.C. I'll talk for a few minutes about what I think war and peace and Indigenous Peoples Day have to do with each other, and feel free to tell me if I've gone too long. I think there might be no more important place to mark Indigenous Peoples Day than Washington, D.C., the center of global weapons dealing, base building, and war making, the leading hub of nuclear weapons production and environmental destruction, the seat of a national and imperial government that oversees colonies of second-class citizens on Caribbean and Pacific Islands, as well as in Washington, D.C. itself, while keeping nearly 1,000 major military bases in over 80 other countries, a government that continues to abuse the remaining native people of North America, exploit the land to destroy the sky and poison the water, in a city that after decades of protests is willing to rename its professional concussion-inducing team as long as it can name it for war makers. And why is there a C in Washington, D.C. anyway? Because Washington claims the mantle of colonialism, empire, slavery, and genocide, and because it claims ownership not only of the United States, but of the two continents of America, calling its people Americans, and their single biggest public project, the Defense Department. The many U.S. suburban paradises that are sprinkled across the globe as military bases are gated communities on steroids and on apartheid. Their residents are often immune from criminal prosecution for their actions outside the gates, while the locals are only admitted within to do the yard work and the cleaning. Foreign U.S. bases were not invented in 1898 the way textbooks tell our children. The United States had foreign bases prior to and built more during its War of Independence from foreign occupying troops who raped and pillaged. The motto of the new nation was, hey, that's our job. Down here at the University of Virginia, a giant statue celebrating George Rogers Clark doesn't just honor genocide, but depicts it approvingly in a sculpted monument. Every base built west of the mountains to advance the settler colonists was a foreign base. Every war was a foreign war. If you think that's ancient history, explain to me why every newspaper in the United States calls the current war on Afghanistan the longest U.S. war. They could not do that if they believed that Native Americans were human beings. Tell me why every newspaper in the United States will tell you that the deadliest U.S. war ever was the U.S. Civil War. They could not do that if they believed that Native Americans or Filipinos or Koreans or Vietnamese or Laotians or Iraqis or Afghans or the rest of humanity was human. They don't even include the deaths of the Native Americans against whom the United States was fighting wars during the U.S. Civil War. Most teachers in the U.S. will tell you that the conquest of territory is a thing of the past. But U.S. military bases are on land all over the globe that it took by displacing people in Greenland, Canada, Alaska, Hawaii, Panama, Puerto Rico, Trinidad, Korea, Okinawa, Guam, Diego Garcia, the Philippines, and numerous Pacific islands. We have a war problem. We have a bigotry problem. We have a problem of a political system that is putting up candidates from two different parties, neither of which mentions the problem or addresses the problem in any way. We need to turn this holiday into a real celebration and force of education around Indigenous people and the wisdom of sustainable living on this planet. And we also need to transform the upcoming holiday called Veterans Day back into what it was, Armistice Day, a celebration of ending war and transforming this world into a place beyond war. I appreciate you including me.
Thank you, sir.